What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome back to Crayniaq Gaming. We are back with the Sacramento State Legacy here on College Hoops 2K8. And the season's not going very well for the defending champions, to say the very least, as Sacramento State has lost the past two games and are sitting at 3-4 on the season. But since we actually played the past two games, we're going to sim the next two games, because I didn't do it in the Florida video. So we're going to sim the Utah game and the Buffalo game, and in this video, we're going to be playing the Texas game. But before we get into this video, I just want to let you guys know that I'm actually doing a Sacramento State Dynasty on NCAA Football 14. I actually just started it out this week, so if you want to check out more of that in the future, make sure you check out the link in the description. I stream almost every day and have a lot of different things going on my channel. The streams are definitely a lot of fun. I love interacting with you guys, so definitely pull up when you have the time. So Sacramento State was able to get a 2-point victory over Utah. 73-71 was the final. Mark Gibson with a big game, 11 points, 12 rebounds for another double-double. Clarence Foster with 14 points to lead the Hornets. And then in the Buffalo game, again, Sacramento State eking out a close one over the Bulls, 79-75. Foster with 30 points off the bench, doing a very good job in his new role. He was 11 for 24 shooting. And just like that, Sacramento State is back over 500. But now they take on a very tough team in number 23, Texas. This non-conference schedule has been brutal for Sacramento State so far this year, as they head to Frank Irwin Center in Austin, Texas to take on the Longhorns. And this will be another tough matchup, of course, for Sacramento State as we look at the starting lineups. Hornsby, Swoger, Bills, Leno, and Gibson starting for Sacramento State. Again, Foster now on the bench as the sixth man. Texas has Kennedy Chavis, Vince Chatfield, Rasheed Atkins, Kala Price, and Marquise Nualitia. I totally benched that. We're just going to call him Marquise or just Mark or something like that in this video. So here we go. Texas early on with a 3-1 lead. Nobody's made a basket 4 minutes into this game. It's been all free throws, but then C's going to hit the three. We out here rhyming like I still rap or something like that. But it's a 6-1 lead, and then Chatfield pulls up from the wing, no good. Tipped back in by Price, and now it's a 7-point lead for the Longhorns. Now Gibson going to swing it over to Swoger. Swoger's going to stop the bleeding just a little bit, make it a 5-point game. Now Foster, off the bench, going to pass over to Queen, gets the ball back. Foster trying to run baseline. It's not there, but he cuts inside, and he's able to get the bucket off of the goaltend by Marquise. I'm not saying his last name again because I'm going to butcher it, and I'm going to feel bad about it. Now Atkins with the spin move, passing over to Chavis. Inside to Marquise, he's going to get the bucket, and it's 10-7 Texas. Sacramento State burns the timeout, down by 3. Now Swoger in transition, passes it to Turksign, who kicks it to Foster in the wing. He drains it to tie the ball game up at 10. Now Gibson going to kick it out to Turksign. Inside the 2-point line, no good. Queen tries to get the rebound, but Marquise able to pull it down. And now Texas in transition. Kripe with the layup over the head of Swoger. And Sacramento State really struggling against this Texas team, but Gibson going to get the layup, finally getting a bucket in this game. But now Texas with a 6-point lead, and then Queen just throws the ball away. Chavis gets the steal. C going to pass inside, and then over to Chavis, who's going to get the bucket. So it's an 8-point lead for Texas. Now 5 minutes remaining in the half. Chavis tries to work his way inside, but it's not happening for him. Then Marquise is able to get the pass, get the bucket, and it's a 10-point lead for the Longhorns. Queen gets a big steal, however. Foster in the corner, wide open, drains the three, and now Sacramento State down just 7. Now a 9-point lead for Texas, 4 minutes to go. And Lambier able to get the bucket and the foul. Marquise called for the foul. Makes it a 7-point game. Now a 6-point game after the free throw, but then Texas going to go right back up by 8 with a layup. And now Texas trying to make it a 10-point game again. Chavis back over to Atkins. Pulls up, mid-range, no good. Rebounded by Chavis. Goes right back up with it, and it's good. And it's a 10-point Texas lead. Once again, Hornsby trying to slow down the bleeding. Able to hit the three. Makes it a 7-point ball game with 3 minutes to go in the half as Texas burns the timeout. So now the Longhorns up by 8. 2 minutes to go. Chatfield pulls up for the deep 2. No good. Rebounded by Bruff. He misses the initial layup, but then tips it right back in. And again, a 10-point lead for the Longhorns. Now Chavis pulling up. Lambier with a hand in his face, and it's no good. Now Sac State in transition. Foster drives inside and a big dunk. cuts it down to an 8-point deficit, now a 6-point deficit after some free throws. Swoger pulls up, hits the 3, and he's fouled by C, so he might get a 4-point play. He does miss his free throw, however, and we go into the half with Texas up 31-28. But a pretty successful first half for Sacramento State. They definitely weathered the storm, but they do have to increase their field goal percentage because 28% from the field is not going to get you a win. Neither is 9 turnovers. Clarence Foster leading all scorers with 14 points. Both Marquise and C have 7 for Texas. So now Texas with the ball to begin the second half, and Marquise able to get the short-range bucket off the feet from Chavis. And then the free throw from Gibson, no good. Rebounded by Marquise. But then a big steal by Benny Bills, and he's going to dunk on Marquise now. And maybe that might just light a fire underneath Sacramento State. But Chavis going to pull up for 3 from the wing, able to drain it. Texas up by 5. Now Chatfield going to pull up. No good. Rebounded by Marquise. Back up with it, and he's able to get the bucket. Marquise just dominating the glass so far in this game. Foster pulls up for 3. No good. You just hate to see it. And then a big layup on the other end by C. I know Foster is the leader in points on the team, but he's really struggled in played games so far this year. As Atkins gets a big layup to make it a 9-point lead for the Longhorns. Now a pass inside to Queen, tipped away, and now here's Chavis. Going down the court, gets blocked initially by Turkson, but he's able to go right back up with it and get the bucket. Nobody picked up the rebound. So Sacramento State really struggling here. And then Foster going to cough up the basketball. C with an easy layup, and now Texas up by 13. Things just not going very well for Sacramento State, but Gibson going to get the layup to slow down the bleeding just a little bit. Makes it an 11-point game. Now 7:42 to go in the game. Foster going to pull up mid-range jumper, able to drain it. Makes it an 11-point game again. 16 points as his first bucket in the second half now. Now Gibson going to pass over to Turkson. Wide open. Mid-range jumper goes in. And the deficit back down to single digits as Texas burns the timeout. Chatfield going to pull up from the corner. No good. Rebounded by Marquise. Back up with it, and he gets the bucket and the foul. And things just not going very well for Sacramento State. I've said that before. I'm going to keep saying it because it's true. Bills misses the 3, but Gibson able to tip it in to make it an 11-point game. Now just over 5 minutes to go. Quite wide open for 3. No good. And it's tipped back in a couple of times by Price. But it finally goes back in. Now Queen trying to get inside, not working. Foster pulls up for 3. No good. Rebounded by Atkins. And again, Texas taking advantage of the poor transition defense by Sacramento State. It has pretty much been an issue for this entire season for the most part. Now a 16-point deficit. Bill's going to pull up from the wing. Hits the 3. Now it's a 13-point game. Crazier things have happened. Maybe Sacramento State can come back, but it's not looking very good as it's another bucket for Chatfield. 61-44 is your score now, and things are looking pretty hopeless, but Sacramento State not going to give up. Hornsby pulls up for the 3. Good. And there was a foul. He'd missed the free throw, but it's 61-47. Gibson trying to play good defense, but doesn't box out, and Bruff gets the bucket. And that's pretty much all she wrote. Sacramento State made a late push, but Texas ends up winning this one 72-62. Player of the game is C. 18 points, 5 of 8 from the field, 7 of 8 from the charity stripe. He did make one of his 2 threes and also got 3 rebounds and 2 steals. Just a dominant game in general from Texas as Clarence Foster only made 1 bucket in the second half, led the team with 16 points. Everybody else held to single digits. And this team really just looks like a shadow of what they were last year when they won the national championship. And they got to start picking this up or it's going to be a very long season. Marquise with 16 points, 10 rebounds, a big double-double for Texas. Of course, C with 18 points off the bench, mind you. And it's not like Sacramento State played completely horribly defensively. I mean, they forced 26 turnovers, but it's just the fact that they didn't really take advantage of them throughout this game. And Texas was able to hold them off and get a big victory. So now we go to the 2 sim games of this episode. Sacramento State holding off St. Mary's just barely, 67-66. Gibson with 13 rebounds, 14 points for Foster. And Hornsby actually led Sacramento State with 15 points. And then I HOOPCAST simulated the game against Portland. And this was just another really frustrating game in that I wasn't even playing this time. But Portland took the lead at halftime, and they just really never looked back. It doesn't really appear like they had a deficit in the second half at all, and they'd walk away with a 92-84 victory over Sacramento State. So the Hornets are back at 500 at this point, and next video we'll be taking on Eastern Washington to begin Big Sky play. And hopefully Sacramento State is able to turn the ship around as they start playing their in-conference schedule. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, make sure you hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the sub button as well. And you guys have yourselves a wonderful rest of your day, night, or whenever you're watching this. Like I always say, guys, no matter what happens, make sure you keep that mofo rolling. I love y'all 3000. I'm Audi 5000. Deuces.